Hello, good morning to everyone, or I think good afternoon if you are in the afternoon. My name is and I'm from the WIDIA marketing team. And today we have a new webinar format. So welcome to our new webinar on the basic tools that you need to have in your machine shop. And before we start, just a few words on safety. So make sure that wherever you are in a safe environment. Check your emergency exits if you are in the office or in a workplace. And if you are in the car, we recommend you stop so you can also see Patrizio's presentation. Patrizio Cresta is our presenter today, is the solid and milling product manager for WIDIA globally. And this is actually quite a different webinar because, you know, we actually speak very often about our high performance tool, about WIDIA innovations. Also lately you have seen the new Advances 2021 products. But today we're going to speak about versatile products that you need in your machine shop every day. And if you want to start, if you are maybe new to WIDIA or pretty new to WIDIA and you want to start with some products, we really recommend these because they are the basics that you need in your machine shop. So today we have 30 minutes for our webinar, and you can also ask questions throughout the training. Feel free to write them in the Q&A section that you can find in your control panel, and Patrizio will answer them at the end. So I will leave it to Patrizio, and Patrizio, if I forgot anything, please add it also.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Isabel, and good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for joining this new webinar. And Isabel, as she mentioned, already today we are going to touch a very different topic, or probably we are going to touch the same topic around cutting tool, but from a very different perspective, because many times we talk about high performance products or very complex application where you need to have probably the most productive tool and something very specific to face the challenge. But sometimes we have to remember that not all the customer or the machine shop need the ultimate solution for a very specific or complex application. So I don't know, I want to start with a picture like this, where we know every day how many shop floor we visit like this, where probably our customer, or if you are an end user, I mean, your shop floor looks like something like this, okay, with 3 or 5 machines, and maybe your daily work is basically to jump from steel then to stainless steel in small lot sizes. So probably you cannot, let me say, afford to have a specific tool for every different application you run, but probably you need to have some tools that are versatile enough to cover all your needs, okay? So you can reduce your setup time and also reduce your tooling cost. So basically the topic for today is exactly to see which are really the must-have tools, okay, if you're running a shop floor where versatility is a key, okay, or basically where you have to change material, component, application continuously, okay? Maybe you start in the morning with a component and then in the afternoon you have to switch to another component. So today we are basically going to touch these 5 different categories where, in my eyes, with my 20 years of experience, I think they are really the must to have. And I would say that 95% of the machining shop I visited in my life have these two combined together, okay? So you see that we have ISO turning starting from the left hand side, then going down to the right hand side. We could say that ISO turning is basically the fundamental, then moving to indexable drilling, some solid carbide drilling if you have to cover a small diameter, 90-degree shoulder milling, and then solid carbide end milling, okay, 2, 3, or 4 flute, depending on the type of application you might have. So what I want to do basically is to cover some of these tools, or basically these 5 tool category, and explain you or tell you why they are the must-have type of product in your machining shop. So let me start with isoturning. Isoturning, if I try to remember, okay, some of the data I have from the global tooling market, just to let you understand, 45% of the global tooling market in terms of revenue or dollars spent by customer is around isoturning insert. So with this, I can probably say that 90% of the machining shop you see around the world run a type of turning application. Maybe it's a really simple 2-axis application, or maybe they are working on a 5-axis machine, or many different types, but 90% of the shop floor around the world needs to have a CNMG 12, okay, or a very basic isoturning insert. So that's why I think this is really the basic. Okay, so the majority of the mechanical components are basically based on a round shape. So turning is really the bread and butter of machining. So today, WIDIA, of course, offer a quite comprehensive portfolio of turning products with different, basic shape, from the CNMG to the DNMG to the square SNMG and so on and so on, with different corner radii configuration and also with different type of grades. Okay, so with a Victory turning portfolio, you have basically the security, let me say, to find always the type of grade that you need. Okay, if you need to machine steel, we have this cover, as well as if you have to machine stainless steel, we have 3 grades to cover this type of application. Same story when it comes to cast iron, okay, starting from the KO5 for typical grade cast iron down to the K20 for nodular cast iron or something more challenging. Even we have the possibility to cover some super alloys machining, okay, even if you have to machine titanium, Inconel, Vaspaloy, or any other kind of super alloy. These 4 areas are fully covered by the Victory turning grades that we have in our portfolio into the WIDIA side. Now, moving to indexable drilling, and one of the reasons why I say indexable drilling is a must-have is because with an indexable drill, you have the maximum application flexibility, right? So if you have a bit of experience in drilling holes, okay, you know that there are different type of drills, okay? You have solid carbide, you have modular with an interchangeable tip on top, like the TDMX or the TDM1, and then we have the indexable, like the Tokat 4 that we have here. So normally or typically, when you have a solid carbide drill or a modular drill, you have to pay sometimes more attention because you need somehow to be in the right condition to run the tool properly, okay? Especially if you need to drill a deep hole, maybe you have to make a pilot hole, or you need to be sure that you are on a flat surface. So there are certain conditions that you need to respect, okay, if you want to run a solid carbide drill in a proper way. With an indexable tool, you don't have to care too much about that, okay? It's really a roughing tool, and you can drill holes basically everywhere, okay? Like if we try to summarize more or less the type of application that you can cover with an indexable drill, you see them here in the icons. You see on the top of the slide in this moment. Okay, you can drill on convex surface as well as round surface. You can drill even in a half hole, incline entry, incline exit. Every kind of tough and challenging application can be covered by an indexable drill, because this is the tool that offers this type of maximum flexibility. Then coming back for a second to the previous slide, an indexable drill is also something multi-material. Okay, so the very good thing I love about an indexable drill is that you can simply change the insert on top. Okay, and believe me, they are totally inexpensive. Okay, so it's not like changing a tip on a modular drill. So the insert of a Tomcat 4 are quite, let me say, cheap. So for few dollars, you can basically change the insert and change the material. Okay, so you don't need to do any kind of setup or other strange operation. So you can simply change the grade and the geometry, and then you can switch easily from steel to stainless, or from steel to cast iron, or even to superalloys or aluminum. Okay, so that's the great thing about an indexable drill. And then, of course, between all the drilling product, indexable is the perfect tool when you have both rotating and standing application. Okay, rotating application means that the drill is rotating, okay, like you are on a machining center. And standing application is basically when apply the tool on a lathe, okay, on a turning machine. And one example of this, where I think the indexable drill fit perfectly, let me maybe, all right, remove the sound so you probably can hear me well. So you have the component rotating, of course, and then the drill creating the holes. But then, in this case, with indexable drill, you can even open up your hole, okay? So you can make like a typical boring operation, so adding even more flexibility to your operation. So that's why I think if you're running a machining shop where turning is representing a lot of your typical application, an indexable drill like Tomcat 4, it's really the must to have. Okay, so because I'm sure you will find a lot of good application where we can utilize the Tomcat 4. And by the way, when we look at the portfolio, the very good thing about Tomcat 4 is that we have a very extensive diameter range between 12 millimeter up to 68 millimeter. So you can cover really a lot of diameter in a length included between 2 times D up to 5 times D. Okay, so again, if we want to stress more and more the concept of flexibility, I think it's not only the application itself, but also with the portfolio that we have, you have a lot of flexibility between diameter and length, and of course, type of geometry and grade to cover many different materials. Okay, by the way, the Tomcat 4, the minimum diameter is around 12 millimeter, but then of course, probably you have the needs also to cover smaller diameter, okay, but still maintaining a kind of versatility, flexibility type of requirement for your cutting tool. Another product that we have, I think is really a must-have or a bread and butter of tooling, is what we call the Vari drill, okay, and the name Vari basically means that you can handle different material with one single tool. Okay, so that's why I would like to define the Vari drill like the real versatile multi-material drill. So here in this case, we have been able to develop a geometry, a grade, and coating capable to handle different material, basically keeping the same point geometry. So you don't need to have a specific tool for steel or a specific tool for stainless or a specific one for cast iron. But with one, you can cover multiple materials. So making your the management of tooling in your shop floor very easy. Okay, so and to prove this, so let me show you just a few applications. Okay, so here, for example, we have a Vari drill. If I remember correctly, we are around 8 millimeter in diameter, running on steel. Okay, so this is a 4140 steel or a 42 chromo molybdenum 4, depending on the standard you typically use. The same drill now running on IEC 304. Okay, so you can see already from the chip formation that this is stainless. Okay, so the chip formation means that the chips are coming out from the drilling area a bit longer, okay, compared to the previous video. So the same tool, now we are on stainless. Okay, and this is really a typical situation where a shop floor has to run different component in different material, or maybe even the same component, but maybe in different material because the component has a different type of application. Okay, at the end of the day, maybe you have requirement for stainless because of corrosion, and then steel because you have normal application. So if you have the needs to be flexible, of course, the Vario drill is exactly the perfect tool for you. Okay, and then after we made stainless, the last one is basically cast iron, and then also here you can understand that this material is cast iron because the chips are coming out very short, and also the feed rate is quite aggressive. Okay, because on gray cast iron you can really go aggressively into the material. Of course, behind the Vario drill, there are some few secrets that makes the tool versatile. And let me say that if we can summarize that, the two main geometrical feature making the Vario drill versatile is the fact that we are basically marginless. Okay, so we don't have any margin here on top, but we have a kind of big, I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on here. Okay. Oops. Okay, we have oops. All right, I hope now the presentation will work. We have basically a big radius here that provides some guidance, but anyway, removing the margin here is making the tool capable to drill on stainless as well, because we don't have too much friction. Okay, that is normally one of the problems that we encounter on stainless steel operation. And then also the gash profiling. So basically the gash is this portion of the tool, is another secret around the Vario drill, because we have a very unique shape or geometry that is, produced with a 5-axis grinding machine or 5-axis grinding operation to be able to basically smoothly move the chip from the cutting edge into the flute. Okay, so these are in my eyes the real two secrets about the Vario drill, and making the Vario drill really versatile and capable to machine many different materials, including even the super alloys. Okay, because we had experience drilling titanium as well as Inconel, and the Vario drill work perfectly even in those type of material. Then, of course, another big strength of the Vario drill is really about the portfolio. It's the only one tool that we have in our range under WIDIA that starts from 1 millimeter in diameter, so really small diameter, up to 20 millimeter in 0.1 millimeter stack, right? So what I mean is that we go from 1 to 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, up to 20 millimeters. So you have really a super wide range of diameter in 3, 5, and 8 times D in length. Okay, so here in this portfolio, I think you will be able to find everything you need for your drilling needs. Now, moving out from the drilling area, let's jump into milling. And then, of course, if you have an idea about how many milling tools there are out there in the market, in every producer catalog, you have really multiple type of product. Okay, more specific for shoulder milling, some more specific for face milling, some other specific for high feed application, a lot. But again, coming to experience, when I go to customer and see what they do, I believe that the 50% of the indexable milling tool applied by the customer is represented by shoulder milling, especially in particular by the typical positive to cutting edge cutter. Okay, so similar to the one that you see represented in the picture on the slide, and this is basically the VSM 11 or VSM 17. So this tool is normally specific for shoulder milling application. Okay, so you need to do profile milling or contouring around the component, and you need to have a good level of finish of the wall. But then, of course, many customers see this like a versatile type of tool, because many customers do everything with a shoulder milling type of milling cutter, from face milling to helical interpolation to slotting. So that's why I can tell you that 50% of the sales that we normally do or the revenue are generated in indexable milling are normally generated by a shoulder milling cutter like the one that you see on the picture. And just to let to understand. Here it's a small example of what a tool like VSM11 can do. Okay, so as I said, we can do from face milling operation. Okay, as I said, it's not a specific one for face milling, but you can do that. Okay, so then you can do profile milling or peripheral. Okay, so basically machine the side of your component. All right. Then you can go in making this kind of two-axis profiling. Okay, like in the example here, we are making like a corner radii, a big one, a corner radius. So you can do that with a simple axial interpolation. You have then slotting, right? So in case you need to open any slot in your component, still again, VSM11. So it is basically still the same tool, the same type of insert, okay? Running all these different applications, like now the helical interpolation as well. So you have a three-axis interpolation to open holes in your component. And by the way, now the video that you see here has been realized on let me say a three-axis milling machine, okay? But a tool like the VSM11 can be even applied on driven units on turning machine, okay? So let's imagine that we have a typical turning machine with a 12-position turret and you have a driven tool there. You can also apply the VSM11 if you want, or the VSM17 if you want to run some milling application on your turning machine. And then the other very good thing about VSM11 and 17 is that you can face different type of application and material just simply changing the insert. Okay, we have different grade and geometry to, you see, face or machine different material, from steel to stainless to cast iron to super alloys. We have something specific for aluminum and even the diamond insert, so the PCD, if you want to run very high speed application on non-ferrous material. So again, similarly to TOCAD 4, simply changing the insert, you can then change material and type of application just changing the insert without taking care about basically the cutter body. Now, last but not least, the solid carbide and milling, and there, you know, we often talk about the cutter specific for turbine blade, the other cutter specific for aerospace structure. But anyway, even in this portfolio, we have something that is really versatile. And this is basically represented by the GP solid carbide end mills, okay? So here is another example of what this type of tool can do, okay? So here we see again the same type of tool running similar application on three different type of material, right? So we have this first application running on again 4140. So this is basically a classical construction steel that is very easy to find, okay, in machining shop. Then we have again you see exactly the same type of operation, but in this case we are on gray cast iron, okay? And you see that we never stop, right? So it is again the same tool, so no tool change, no setup, no need to store different type of product in your shop floor, simply running the same application on different material, okay? Last but not least, we have stainless. That, by the way, has been machined dry just for demo purpose. Okay, so don't do too much stainless steel without coolant because it will destroy your tool. But anyway, you see that still the same product has been able to handle many different materials that are really the most common material are typically machined in shop floor around the world. All right. And by the way, this type of tool is also very good when we apply the product on what I like to call not perfect holder for milling. Okay, I normally always say that hydraulic chuck, shrink fit, bearing milling chuck are the best one for milling. But then I understand for multiple reasons, we sometimes need to go with Weldon or using the ER chuck. So with the GP tool, you are enough comfortable and confident to take your tool and apply even on this type of holder without incurring into any type of possible bad situation, let me say. Now, also here the portfolio is quite big, okay, because we start from 2 flute to 3 flute and 4 flute, okay, so you have really a big variety. Again, coming to the driven tool example that I made before, okay, you can apply this on milling center as well as on turning tool, and then we go from the square shape also to the ball nose in case you need to do any kind of profiling. So really, from the portfolio perspective, you have everything you need in case you have the need again to run any kind of solid carbide milling in your shop floor. And by the way, I kept this for the last because on this type of product now we have also promotion that basically will be valid for the entire month of June. Okay, so we created some kits on the GP and MIS, and you see that we have many different kits. Okay, so some kits are covering the 2 flute, some kits are covering the 3 flute, and some other kits are covering the 4 flute. All right, and you see that into each category we have the 2 flute, for example, with the sharp edge, the 2 flute with the chamfer, and the 2 flute ball nose. Then it's basically the same with the 4 flute, okay, sharp edge, chamfer, and ball nose. And last but not least, we have the 3 flute, sharp edge, and chamfer, simply because normally on the 3 flute we don't offer any ball nose. Okay, all those kits are, you see, available in our shop floor because we have a specific material master for each kit. Okay, and we cover diameter from 6 down to 16 millimeter, which are the most used type of diameter all around the world, right? So you should be able to find what you need basically already from this kit. Okay, so if you are an end user, those kits are available to our distributor. And they will inform you about the price reserved to you for each of those kits. Okay, so once again, this promotion is valid for the entire month of June. Okay, you have 1 month available to take advantage of this special offer that we are creating for you. All right, with this, I thank you, and I will hand over to Isabel to see if you have any question or final comment.
Thank you, Patrizio. We have a question actually already, and it is about the vary drill. Can the vary drill be reground?
Yes, we can do regrinding on vary drill.
Okay, super. And we'll wait a second to see if we have more questions. In the meantime, I also remind you, if you're not doing it yet, to follow us on our social media channels. You know, we are on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and also YouTube, because the videos that Patrizio showed you, I think most of these, Patrizio, are on YouTube. So
yeah, all of them.
All of them, perfect. Okay, so make sure that you follow us. We also have a new video that we posted recently. Okay, Patrizio, I guess we don't have any questions for now, but we hope that you enjoyed this shorter webinar. No, okay, there is a question actually. With the 4 flute, Patrizio, in this slide, there are 2 mistakes with the material master.
Yeah, probably I did the typo on this. I will double check and correct that. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for for the catch up. For the good
Yes,
catch.
thank you. Okay, so it says, yeah, it must start with 651 and not 615. Okay, thank you.
Probably these are the two here. Yes. Yeah, I will have them corrected.
Great, and as always, you will receive the recording of this webinar tomorrow, and you can also share it with anyone else that is interested. And let us know if you enjoyed this shorter webinar, 30 minutes webinar, and if you want more webinars like this one also in the future, you know, where we speak about products that you need to have in your machine shop or something similar. So thank you very much for being here today. Thank you, Patrizio, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye-bye.